And talking about government and their responsibility if they want to attract foreign direct investment, there's fiscal transparency. Federal government, state government, and recently budgets carried out a research to find out the level of fiscal transparency in states. We have joining us to expose some of the high points of that, the country director of budget, Mr. Gabriel Okelwo, is right here in the studio. Mr. Okelwo, good morning and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ine. My pleasure.
Yeah, so this is not the first time, obviously, for carrying out this. This is for the second quarter.
This is the second time, yeah.
This is the second time, yes. And the second quarter, for this year. What are some of your findings?
Okay, I think a bit of background is the state fiscal transparency is like a new idea from our organization, and that is not even going into detailed analysis of fiscals. That's just looking at responsibility of government to be transparent, to be open and accountable to its citizens. Can you just be, up to date in terms of information where if you have been elected into power, you have been elected into power to act on behalf of the people, and we expect that you should be able to give, feedback to the people that you are serving. And one of the ways to do that is to put out certain documents, certain information that informed us how you are managing the resources of the states and how you are managing our Commonwealth.
So have you found state government doing that? Because, I mean, for instance, there's the 5 billion naira that was just given by the federal government. I don't think that's captured in the second quarter.
Not yet.
Because that just happened. And even this morning in the office, we're having a conversation about it. And people were wondering, okay, so they have been given, I think the last time I heard, they were giving 2 billion out of the 5 billion. What are you using it for? How much of that do you open up to the people? Do they see it? Do they know what you're doing? This money is supposed to be a palliative, to the people of your states.
And that's exactly what part of what the State Fiscal Transparency League is about. State Fiscal Transparency League is checking certain documents, it's checking your budget documents, it's checking your budget implementation documents, it's checking your audit report, and it is in all of these documents that we get to see how you have managed all of these resources, either they come as a palliative that you are meant to release to the public, or they come as part of your expenditure for a fiscal year. And what brought us into this is nothing far from the fact that in today there are still state governments in Nigeria that will be that you find difficult to have a fully functional website, right? You can go on the website today, you see certain documents, you go back there tomorrow, you do not see those documents, and this are just means through which we believe you can feed us back. Now, you mentioned something about FDI just in the last interview you had. You know that there are states in Nigeria, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, that in the whole fiscal year they are not attracting any FDI to the states. And so these are some of the things that foreign investors will want to look at to be able to see. They don't want to necessarily come to you to ask for this document, but can they look at a state in Nigeria and go to your website and say they want to see your audit report, or they want to see your budget report, they want to understand how you are running the fiscals of the state. And then when those documents are not there, do not give them confidence, or it doesn't even allow them to be able to have an understanding of what is happening in your state for them to know if they want to come in and bring their fund or bring their investment or not.
So I know that the first one you did, Lagos State was not in a very good position. And I mean, one would have thought that Lagos State is commercial capital, everything is out there, the fiscal transparency will be 100% or at least 90%, all of that. What are some of the states that have done well and those that have not done so well in this second quarter?
Yeah, calling out Lagos State, I think the attention on Lagos State, and we are not calling out Lagos State, it's just that the attention on Lagos State is because, as you said, is the commercial capital, and then when we put the 36 states of Nigeria together, and you look at their maybe capacity in terms of revenue capacity or even their budget size, Lagos State is way above all the other states in Nigeria. So we expect certain level of innovation, certain level of trailblazing from Lagos State than the other states. Other than that, Lagos should not be differ from every other state. But they are not doing so badly that they can do better, and we know that recently there is a power change in the cabinet in Lagos State. We are hoping that the new commissioner for budget and planning will do well to ensure that all the necessary fiscal document that is meant to be in the repository of Lagos State publicly are there, because these are some of the things we are measuring. Like I said, the state fiscal transparency is not even looking at the figures. It's just looking at, do you even put out this information for us to assess, for the public to assess, and not just budget. And then when you then begin to look at how are the state performing, there are states that, you know, when you look at last year, the last one in Q1 and Q2, right, a Jigawa state, for example, is topping the table. And that is not saying, we are not looking at whether you are generating revenue or whether you are spending well. We are just saying in terms of your openness to the people, do you have a fully functional website? Is your budget document available? Are you releasing your budget implementation report? Is your audit report on time? We are just looking at that level of transparency. That's like the barest minimum that any state government should be playing in right now, you know. So yes, we have unlikely states that you will see topping that table, but when we come to then looking at the figures, it might not be the same, which, I mean, in another 2 weeks, we are going to see that our state of state research will now do that. So this state fiscal transparency, just looking at availability of fiscal documents. State of state will look into analysis of how have you expended, what did you even make, what is your survival rate without FAC allocation coming from federal government, how much can you sustain yourself, what is your priority in terms of your investment or your spending on capital expenditure and your spending on recurrent expenditure. All of that we are going to be releasing in the next 2 weeks, looking at the 2022 fiscal year of all the 36 states in Nigeria.
I think the oil-producing states will also be states of interest,
yes,
because, I mean, they have like so much coming in for them, and one would be curious to find out where is it going to. Okay, as you said, that would be in the states of state,
yes,
but I mean, how much of this do we know? We got this for our allocation for this month, you know, the one of last collecting, this is what we did, this is what with that project you see, you know, on your road is part of it. You know, it will really win. We talk about Nigerians not trusting the government, not trusting the system. I think this will go a long way, you know, to win the trust of Nigerians.
Definitely, and when we subject it back to this analysis in Q1 and Q2, you realize that none of the so-called oil-rich states, for example, are even in the top 10 of states that will consider fiscally transparent, looking at the availability. And these are areas in Nigeria where there are a lot of agitation about government not, the citizen not seeing the hand of government or not seeing the actions of government. And then, yes, I mean, a lot of, they tend to get a bit extra resources than other states that are not oil producing. So you expect that there is so much that should be happening there, and that should even motivate them to be able to, you know, come out to their people to flaunt what they are doing, if they are really doing those things, you know. But that is still a bit far from reality.
Maybe because they have too much to talk about that. So, but when you finish, you do your research and get all these reports, what do you do with it? Do you go back to the state and say, this is what we found, you know, about your states, you know, or do you just, you know, talk about it like this and then that's it? Okay,
so we release this report and it doesn't end here. As a matter of fact, you see state government even reaching out, and that's a good one, right? But usually, state government will reach out on either of two things. They are either reaching out because they feel they have done better, right? Yesterday, there is a state governor that had to retweet that particular report.
Only because they feel that.
Yes, and that's even not the first or the second, but he felt, okay, they are moving a niche upward, right? But we also have instances where states are reaching out to say, oh, no, you say I didn't have this document, but I have this document. It's already in my website. Can you go back there? And if we go back there right now, we might see that document. But in our analysis, right, it takes 3 months for us to do this report. For every quarter, we go online to your website, and each time we go, we take a snapshot with timestamp. So which means that at the minimum, we'll visit your website at the minimum 3 times before we can say that you do not have this document online. Now, likely budget to a foreign investor that came to your website, at 3 different occasions, and at those 3 different occasions, he couldn't find a certain document that he was looking for. And that is what we are trying to say here. We are not saying it's not there on the 1st of the month, but can we find it on the 1st of the month? And when we go back on the 10th of the month, we can still see that document there. Because what we do mostly, or what many state governments do, is that they put out a document because they know that there are certain eyes or certain persons that are using it for analysis, and when they know that that analysis has been done and completed, those documents are pulled down. Why are you pulling them down? Can they just be there for public consumption because they are meant for public?
Could it be that the citizens are not even demanding for some of these things? Could it be why some of the state government do not think or, you know, go out of their way to put those documents out there?
The level of demand from the part of the citizens has actually increased over the years. And when we say citizen, civil society organization, which is the industry I represent, we act in the interest of the citizen. We work in the interest of the public. So when we ask, it is as good as the citizens are asking. And we are asking and we are coming out to say it is not there. There are several other investors, there are other people that want, development partners that want to come into your state, that will go in there, see it, but they are not coming to you to say, oh, it's because I didn't find certain documents to give me an indication into what is happening in your state or what you are committing to health or education or agri, for me to have an idea to know if I can bring in my investments. They won't come back to you to say that. So it is even a plus that we go in there, we check and we can't find, and we are coming out with a report. Any of our reports is for public consumption. Any of our reports, we are reporting like we are reporting on behalf of the people to say we have gone into your website for this quarter and we can't find these documents there. We can't find these other documents there. And the whole idea is, can a state government, in this world that we live in right now, where tech is ruling the world, we cannot run away from it. Everything is powered by technology. The minimum that a state government can do is to commit a desk to managing our website, ensuring that our website is up to date. This morning while I was waiting before coming on board, I've been to some state government website this morning and they are down. It should not be told. I mean, we all run private businesses. We run, I mean, since I knew Channels TV, I've never had opportunity to go online to check Channels TV, and I didn't find Channels TV online. Why is it possible with a private investment and it's not possible with government? We need to do better.
We need to do better, and we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when we look at, for instance, you want to carry out a research or a report on Nigeria, you search for data, and you can even get some data from the United States about Nigeria.
Yes.
But you don't get our ministries, you don't get data. Sometimes it's really frustrating.
And that is what this is meant to forestall. Yes,
exactly.
that is what this is meant to forestall. And more importantly, in this era that we live in right now, where it looks as if things are really tight, things are difficult, you want to put out information therefore to keep people
because communication is key. I tell you, I can't wait for your third quarter to see if we will have any state government that will talk about what they did with the 5 billion naira palliative.
Oh, well, you may not see that in state fiscal transparency in the top quarter, but possibly we might see that in the next State of States reports, and not this one that is coming in 2 weeks. Not this one that's coming. Because this one is going to be extra in 2002 fiscal year.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, I'm looking forward to it, though. I hope I don't forget by then. But thank you so much for joining us on the program, Mr. Gabriel Okowo, Country Director with Budget.
Thank you very much, Ine.